Call to order the regular school board meeting for October 13th, 2025. Order in the court. Sorry. Chris, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Absolutely. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And a substitute teacher before, but not a substitute president, so. Addressing the board, the public comment portion of the board meeting will allow 3 minutes per speaker. Persons wishing to speak to the board must pre-register at the meeting with the board clerk. Per board policy, speakers must meet one of the following criteria to address the board at a board meeting: district residents, district business owners, district employees, or parent guardians of a student in the district. Persons not meeting the public comment criteria may submit comments via an online forum. Candace?
Yep, we have two. William Harris.
Don't make Don't make a decision about me without me. That quote can be found on our district's very own website, and it's one that I agree with wholeheartedly. Unfortunately, there have been decisions about me made without me. Case in point, a new schedule for the high school. That'll be the topic of our discussion today, because I believe without a doubt that the current schedule for SHS should not be changed, as the benefits for students are unrivaled and it maintains core principles that our district aims to uphold. Before entering sophomore year, I had one goal: to achieve a 3.0 GPA or higher. At the time, this seemed far-fetched. However, with the first quarter coming to an end, I'm finding it more and more achievable. Though I've noticed it's not the classes that are easy, but the schedule that makes them manageable. For example, rather than coming home with homework from all 7 classes, I only have at most 4. But if I do come home with a laundry list of to-dos, then I have the time in order to complete them. See, but the impacts, the benefits go far beyond just me. They go nationwide as well. In a 2019 analysis, Leslie Miscuri, a Dartmouth College graduate, found that there's an overwhelming amount of data in favor of block scheduling. She cites a study from Queens in 2000 that compared schools using traditional schedules to schools using block schedules. The study found that the average GPA for schools using traditional scheduling was 2.8, while the average GPA for block scheduled schools was 3.0. While the 0.2 difference might seem little on paper, for kids like me, it gives them the confidence and the know-how that they can do something, that they are smart enough, that they can achieve great things, if only we are allowed the proper support and time to accomplish them. When I first heard that the schedule was going to be changed, the first thing that came to my mind was the proverb, "If it ain't broke, don't fix it." Yet now I realize the reason behind the schedule change: money concerns. Yet despite all fiscal concerns, I believe that the schedule change goes against core principles of our school that we hold so dear. We claim to put education first, but it's just that, a claim. In reality, future policy actions will only work to backpedal us from this goal. For more context, we can take a look at the long-term plan for financial responsibility that includes policy actions such as: first, implementing tuition for the preschool; 2, implementing a required fee for children to receive snacks independent of the cost of tuition; 3, eliminate the college and career advocate program; and 4, reduce retirement benefits for employees. All these policy actions were made without the stakeholders of the USD 345 district, like me, parents, and teachers in mind. And with that, I thank the board for listening. My time to speak.
Thank you. Next, David, David's your now.
First off, I'd like to thank the school board, superintendent, and all of their administrators for taking the time to hear my petition today. I'm against the proposed schedule because it decreases instructional time, ruins lengthy activities, increases teachers' workloads, and harms ambitious students. The first issue of the proposed schedule is that it decreases instructional time. More passing periods eat up more class time. But there are also preparational activities, such as putting my marching tuba together, that the proposed schedule requires students to do every day. The high school marching band teacher has remarked on several occasions that Monday classes are less valuable than the long odd day classes. Second, it makes it infeasible for some lengthy activities. What if a recipe or a lab requires 1 hour and 20 minutes? With the current schedule, it's reasonable. With the proposed schedule, the activity holds students back from other classes. Next, it increases the workloads of our already busy and stressed teachers even more. They have less time to prepare lessons, grade assignments, respond to emails, and have to take on the work of layoff staff. How could that improve productivity? Moreover, it harms busy students. I absolutely love how the current schedule gives me 2 days to finish my homework. My schedule is packed with marching band, debate, cross-country, and arms classes, so this bit of leeway is priceless. If I get home late from a marching competition, I can do my homework tomorrow night. The proposed schedule ruins this by making deadlines inflexible that are mentally impacting sleep, stress, and work quality. Moving on, the long-term plan for financial stability estimates that the proposed schedule would save $1,260,000 by fiscal year 2029. However, I estimate that the school will lose 2,230,668 minutes of instruction every school year if the schedule were implemented. The time saved is pretty cheap too. If we divide the estimated $300,000 of savings for fiscal year 2027 by the minutes saved with the current schedule, we find that we'd only save 13.5 cents for every minute lost. In FY 2028, we'd only save a mere 19 cents per minute. And then in fiscal year 2029, the school district would only spare 24 cents a minute. These prices can't factor in the value added by the extra staff, the flexibility, and the efficiency from the schedule. Considering that the proposed schedule would waste millions of instructional minutes annually on both students plus teachers, and how cheap each minute really is, especially compared to its value, the current schedule is clearly far more useful. The SHS has also increased spending per pupil by over $1,000 in the last 3 years per year. I'm glad the district wants to be efficient, responsible, and fiscally sustainable, but I fear that the proposed schedule isn't just frugal, but is really just cheap, and it'd also be antithetical. If anyone wants to inspect my math, I have copies of it to hand out. Thank you for hearing me. Do any of you want a copy?
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
You both did a really good job, by the way. It's not easy to get up and talk in front of a bunch
Yeah.
of people, but you guys did great.
Yes, both of you, thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. Next we have, can I have a motion to adopt the agenda for this evening?
I so move.
Second? Ready? Okay, all in favor? Raise your hand.
You said second, it's like,
You raised your hand.
yeah, sorry, my goodness.
Sorry, yeah, thank you. Learning without limits. Ms. Case.
I want to take this opportunity to thank you all for your support and trust in the department that I am honored to direct first and foremost. We could not do what we do every day without your support and trust, as I read in your weekly update. That was a big word from the school board and the district administration. So we want to thank you for that. School food service is a business within the larger business of a school district. As with any business, attention to the details really matter. This is Tammy Johnston. She is simply one of the best child nutrition managers in the business because she pays attention to the details. She started as a food service worker in 2014. It became apparent very quickly that she possessed an incredible work ethic, and she advanced to be one of our managers. Her passion for our program is evident in everything she does, and I've asked her to take her skills district-wide and share her knowledge as much as possible. She now mentors and supports our entire team. She assists in hiring all new team members and ensures they complete the required training. She never hesitates to assist at any site as needed when staff are gone or need additional training. She helps plan menus, training programs, and leads by example, working side by side with any member in our department. Food service can be unpredictable at times and we make mistakes. I'd be the first to tell you, if the day I don't make a mistake, I go home. Tammy helps us fix those issues and solve challenges every single school day. Today, she came in as usual. I wrote this afternoon, which is well before the sun rises, so we're ready to go home. And she stepped in today in the Seaman School, middle school manager's shoes, and actually she covered for 2 managers today because our Pleasant Hill coordinator's been gone for a few days. She takes the district-wide view of our team. We only have a couple subs we call on right now. So she may send Meg or I out at lunchtime, and we trust her. We depend on her. We trust her to know exactly where she needs help, and because she can't cover it all herself. I tell her that she tries. She embodies high quality district operations. I believe that's somewhere in our wording here. She ensures our kitchen teams know the importance of sanitation practices and that food safety is the highest priority of our department. She coordinates food and supply orders that helps our department stay as cost effective as possible. She organizes stock and moves heavy cases of food herself often. I was pondering today, I wonder what the weight of an average delivery is, and it's several thousand pounds. A case of peaches is about 45 pounds, and she regularly lugs them, and then we expect the FIFO, first in, first out, so we're moving those peaches around and constantly rotating. Do you know how much those peaches weigh? I said, yes. Every case of food is handled by a person in our department, and Tammy handles a lot of it herself, and she never fails again to lead by example. I love numbers. Our department currently serves about 2,000 lunches and about 650 breakfast meals each school day. Last school year, the department served 337,573 school lunches. For breakfast, we had 103,952. Then there's snacks, summer meals, a la carte, and special catering by schools when we get those great opportunities. So being a food service manager is a detailed job. Is the dish machine hitting 180 degrees on the rinse cycle? Is the quat sanitizer at the correct measurement with the test strips? Are the thermometers calibrated every 2 weeks at every site? Are the meals for the students who require gluten-free meals handled separately and carefully? Does the production sheet have the correct size disher? You can't imagine what can go wrong if you use a bigger disher than you should have used. Who is missing work tomorrow? We can talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay. And who's cross-trained to do the job for the person that's missing the job? We're big on cross-training. Tammy knows these answers and so much more. That's just a little bit of a sample, and I'm grateful to get to work with you, and everyone at Seaman should be grateful that she works here. So I'm proud to say, Tammy Johnston.
Staff of the Year, Tammy Johnston.
They have a certificate.
You gotta get your picture taken.
Oh, I have to. Thank you. So much. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, next we have Stacy Jones,
It's not a big
with
deal,
FCCLA.
either way.
Good evening. Every year about this time, here we are again. At Nationals this year, we were in, where were we? Orlando. It was exhausting. I had seven young people with me. And this time we took more voice than we normally take, so that was exciting. We're branching out a little bit more. And we had fun, but we also worked. All of our students competed. Our competition this year, instead of doing star events, we had the opportunity to do some knowledge and demonstration events. And so that was a little different for us, but it was a lot of fun. We also, every one of our students helped to judge or do something, a full day worth of competition. They were pretty exhausted afterwards, judging or timekeeping. So they all were and they all went to workshops to learn, even though they just wanted to go play. I reminded them, We don't get money from the district to just play. We have to do our work too. I do have a video that didn't get put in our video, and I just needed you all to see it. Oh,
Jeff's got
here's
it.
our video first. That's the opening ceremony. 10,000 young people. But our other video, I thought you might appreciate just based on what it is. It's just all of us. I'm just gonna try to get it going. There we go. And play it. Uh-oh. It said it's a good day to be in FCCLA, and we decided to do a play on our It's a Great Day to Be a Viking. So all of us were in that one. So I brought with me today Alexa, who is junior. Who's a junior, competed for the first time in FCCLA and did FCCLA Creed interpretation. Alexa.
Hi, everyone. My name is Alexa Maciel. I am a junior at Seaman High School, and this summer in Orlando, Florida, for the National Leadership Conference, I took third nationally in Creed speaking and interpretation. Overall, public speaking is a very, very, very big part of my life. I do debate, I do forensics, and I compete in a multitude of different events that involve public speaking. The event specifically had me recite our creed, and then talk about every point, breaking it down and talking about what it meant to me and how it was a great opening to me for my first time being in FCCLA. This is an event that is only open for first and second year members, so it was overall a great way for me to join and see what the values of FCCLA are.
And then Megan Strobel, who's been to nationals every single year since she was in eighth grade. That's what I thought, since eighth grade. She's a senior this year. Has often taken the top 5 in the nation. And this year she placed 5th in the knowledge test.
Hi, everybody. Like Joan said, my name is Megan Strobel. I'm a senior this year, and this is my 5th year in FCCLA. And like she said, this was my 4th nationals this past year. So I competed at a star event. Unfortunately, I didn't qualify for nationals, but I was given the amazing opportunity to do what they call a knowledge test. So that showcases, my specific one was everything about FCCLA. So who it supports, what are its values, like the colors of FCCLA, which can anybody guess? It's red. And I got 5th. It was a super amazing experience. And I really just want to take the time to thank each and every one of you for your continued support of our program. We truly wouldn't be able to do everything that we do and bring so much recognition to not just Kansas, not just Topeka, but like our district as a whole on the national level without the support that each and every one of you provide. So we're truly grateful.
Now, when Megan says she didn't qualify, she didn't qualify by like 0.05. She was like, it was terrible. It was a hard competition in state. That's it. Thank you.
More pictures.
I have to imagine 5 years, be an expert on that, right? You could be the one to speak.
EC next year in the middle of the what? year anniversary is it for the country? Yeah, it starts on July 5th.
Oh, gee.
Oh my gosh, it's
Oh,
busy.
boy, yeah.
So excited.
Good job, ladies.
All right, superintendent remarks.
Thank you. I just want to take a minute to highlight, and I think we're probably going to see it in a couple different places, but professional development is huge for our teachers, our staff, me, all of us are participating in it. I was actually at a professional development on Friday, and so I missed our professional development with our teachers and staff, but you saw in the weekly wrap up, Paras had an opportunity for a very specific professional development for them. Our teachers at both elementary and middle together, and then at high school did a separate one. And so I just want to commend, first, Megan is the starter of it all, but really she has a lot of people who have bought in, who are helping. Megan, do you know how many presenters? You're probably gonna do this later, so I'll let you do your stuff, but I just wanted to just say how important the professional development is for our staff and how nice of a job we do in our district of that.
President remarks. Christy likes to open it to anybody. Does anybody have anything? Not, I do. I want to kind of pinpoint the second guiding principle. Seaman School District demonstrates integrity through honesty, transparency, and accountability for all students, staff, and stakeholders. And I want to recognize Lisa and the finance team this evening. They are in the process of transitioning from e-finance, which is antiquated and doesn't have any kind of support for it, to Skyward, where all processes in the district for finances will be automated. She and her team have been working through a lot of training to get this up and going in the district for a smooth transition. At the April board meeting, we were presented with our audit, and they found 3 things that we need improvement on. I just want to talk about one of those things that their team is working on. So that I have notes. I'm trying to not just read. So that was the district activities funds. So they have done an excellent job of coming up with processes for tracking those funds. It entails more work for the staff, but the payoff is that there's effective tracking and use of funds. Changing a system that's been in place for a long time can pose challenges, but it might be uncomfortable, but for those concerned for a little while, but in the end, it allows for more accountability and help with our financial accountability. So in addition to that, she is working on creating advertising policies and procedures that will work well with Skyward. This will ensure proper record keeping, invoicing businesses, and timely payment to the advertising liaison, and will be aligned with the district's commitment to continued financial integrity. Once again, changing a system can be challenging, but it will help with our financial accountability. So I just want to thank Lisa and her team for their diligence in this big transition to Skyward. Thank you. All right, disposition of business by consent.
I make a motion that we approve the business by consent.
Second.
Sorry, Kyle.
Is there any discussion? Is that the right order, right? Is there any discussion? Pardon? Oh, not on consent. Okay, all right. So all in favor, raise your right hand. Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Discussion items. Megan.
Okay, good evening. Mr. Wilson did a nice little teaser introduction to a couple of my topics. The very first one on the report is about last Friday's professional learning, where we had early childhood, elementary, and middle school staff all together for some collaboration and breakout rotations, which is kind of that conference style PD. So the numbers of staff presenters that we had at that particular event were 25. So 25 of our internal team members said, yes, I want to step up. I have some great information to share. And boy, they did. They had some fantastic sessions. But we didn't have just internal folks. We also had 6 external speakers. So we had 3 KSDE representatives that actually came. One of our math KSDE reps, ELA, as well as our test coordinator with the Kansas Assessment Program. So they had great information to share. We also had a representative from Washburn University come, a dyslexia specialist from Kansas City, as well as a Noto art representative who talked about incorporating art into the classroom. So really some fantastic sessions last Friday. The other item that I wanted to acknowledge, which is also professional development, but also moving us forward in our KISA standards alignment goals, is just an acknowledgement of our 62 staff members. I went back to count K through 12 who have participated in the Q1 standards alignment professional learning days. So these teams we have split up and they've come for half days. So for example, I had kindergarten and first grade together that came for a day or half day, and then second and third grade that came together for a half day. And they built their Q1, what we're calling focus guides, that identified the focus standards that they determined to be essential for their grade level and content area, as well as what we're calling the learning intentions and success criteria for each of those standards. This is hefty work, and it's really valuable work, and it's directly aligned with our KISA goals. So acknowledging those team members, I wish I would have taken a picture, because if you walked in here last week, I'm using those big, large Post-it papers where we're mapping out our work, and I eventually ran out of wall space because we had K through 12 ELA math, science, and social studies. But I'll try to grab a picture when we come together for Q2. So I'm excited about how well those sessions went, and just hearing the conversations that are happening with our staff. So any questions for me? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I would also like to talk about last Friday's professional development. The first item on my report, my special education folks were with Megan in those breakout sessions, my certified folks, and I had the opportunity to have all of our paraprofessionals with me, which was very interesting. We hadn't done that before in the middle of the school year like that. Mr. Wilson actually put it in his wrap up as well. But we invited an outside person, Shonda Anderson from Greenbush, and she talked about just the basic foundational terms and knowledge of special education, looking at the law IDEA, which we hadn't looked at the law with our paraprofessionals before, looking at specially designed instruction, the terminology under that law, which is just, we change the way we teach so that students get what they need and how they learn, which is really exciting. And then least restrictive environment, making sure that students are with their peers, and that's a big part of a paraprofessional's job and what that responsibility is within the law, and also some practical skills on how to provide that inclusive environment. The two big takeaways, which was just perfect for how the special education department is moving, is one, specially designed instruction. How do you guys teach so our students can learn within the general education environment? What are the things that you say that students say, okay, that's something different, that's how I'll get it? But also, how do we create independence? And that's very important for our students, especially when they have para support within that classroom. How do you become independent? And we had a great conversation with our paraprofessionals about, I don't feel like I'm doing my job if I'm not helping that person, or if I'm not working with the student that I'm assigned for. That means you are doing your job. You've created independence. Go tell your teacher, student doesn't need me anymore. That's an exciting thing. That's a celebration. So it was a really good experience to listen to our paraprofessionals and watch them learn and help them understand their purpose and how valuable they are within our district. So anyway, I thought I'd share that with you. They're a great group of people. So look in the wrap up, if you guys get the wrap up, and there's a great picture of them in there as well. So, questions about that? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ethan.
Megan's back.
Okay, this month we are bringing back our program evaluations, and we are kicking it off with our curriculum program evaluation. First off, I think if you look at the program description narrative, just to start it off, I'd really like to hone in on the first sentence because it sets the foundation for the rest of what we're going to discuss. But it says a well-designed and thoughtfully implemented curriculum is the foundation of student learning and success. So there is so much that goes into the teaching and learning experience, but having that adopted evidence-based curriculum, the right curriculum in place, truly sets that foundation for all of the art of teaching to take place in the classroom. So in thinking about our curricular programming, our stakeholders certainly vary by year as we move through our curriculum cycles. So it is our entire pre-K through 12 staff and administration, and then those review teams that cycle annually, as well as myself as I work with and facilitate those teams. So in looking at the program goals, really there's not a whole lot of reinventing the wheel here. I'm just putting together things that you've already heard from me over the recent years kind of into one package here for the program description. So the first goal is just to continue really to ensure that a curriculum alignment and coherence occurs, connecting learning across grade levels and ensuring that our students are building their skills in that progressive vertical manner as they go through their Seaman school experience. The second goal is to support student readiness for the future by adopting curricula that provide students with the essential knowledge and skills as outlined in our adopted graduate profile. If you're looking at the language in that goal, that should sound very similar to our focus area number 2 with student success skills. So that's the frame I was thinking through with that goal number 2. So with that said, goal number 1, I should have highlighted, really hones in on that focus area number 1 of student academic excellence. And then final goal 3, maintain a systematic review and renewal process to ensure that our adopted curriculum remains aligned with standards and reflects current research and best practices. So that's the whole curriculum review cycle that you have seen from me over the years. So we'll come back to those goals when I talk about action steps on the next page, but just at the bottom of that first page does highlight some key areas of the budget when we think about curriculum. So with Miss Lisa, who is amazing, I appreciate that, a shout out for a great team member, but Lisa provides our curriculum budget, and you can see our 3 main budget categories that I work with as I determine curriculum allocations and adoptions throughout the district. So we have a general supplies category, overall textbook and student materials, as well as at-risk textbook and supplies. And those are broken down by grade levels within those allocations. So that's just an overall big picture view of budget for curriculum. Looking at the top of the second page is our measurable section for how we can continue to evaluate the successful implementation of curriculum programming. So these measurables, as a reminder, are pulled from the annual survey that we started implementing last year. So we'll have, this is last year's numbers. We'll be able to compare soon once we implement another survey this year and hopefully see some growth in these areas. But you can see on the left, I just copied and pasted the questions that were asked on the survey. So you can see the survey questions and how the responses came out. In our first 5 areas, you can clearly see we're doing really well. Responses came out very strongly and agreeing with those statements. The one outlier is that survey question on the bottom where it says students are achieving at appropriate academic levels. That's the one question that shifted more to the middle, with the somewhat disagree, somewhat agree responses being the majority. So that's definitely something to continue to look at and continue to address. I do believe the work that we are doing with our KISA goals in standards alignment, as well as with structured literacy, those pieces should definitely shift towards making some gains in that area, as well as so many other things that we are doing aligned with the strategic plan in the district. So finally, at the bottom are my action steps, and these tie back directly to the goals that I mentioned on the first page. So the first action step is to facilitate the pre-K-12 vertical and horizontal collaborative team meetings focused on standards alignment. That's what I just highlighted in my board report. That's the work that's happening this year directly tied to our KISA action plan. And by the end of this year, we will have those vertical and horizontal maps for every content and grade level in the district. So that's in a continue implementation since we started that process this year. Second action step is to identify focus standards, learning intentions, and success criteria at all grade levels. That's the work that's happening within each of those standards alignments. And this is the first year with core implementation. Next year, I hope we move into electives. So this will be a continue implementation for several years, just because it's such a big elephant. You can't do it all at once. So we're kind of chunking it out here by core this year, moving into electives next year. Third action step is define essential knowledge and skills that are included within the curriculum, ensuring vertical alignment. That is begin implementation, because that is tied to that action or that goal number 2 / focus area number 2, student success skills. And really looking at our curriculum and how is it that we are vertically ensuring those success skills in the graduate profile are being built upon every grade level. And so that is work that we do need to begin. And so that's on our radar, kind of determining what those next steps will be. And then finally, maintain our current curriculum review cycle. If you recall, last year, I actually did a revamp of the curriculum cycle because we were coming to the end of our previously designed. So I built out the cycle through 2031 and actually in doing so aligned it. So for example, next year when we start looking at ELA again, it is a K-12 ELA review process. And then math will be K-12 the next time it happens. So for the first time, we're going to have all of our curriculum being reviewed vertically with the same content areas in the same year. So that's continue implementation from that work that I started last year. So any questions for me on curriculum programming?
Megan, I do.
Yes.
So going back to your the chart measurables,
Yes.
so the first one is 64%, but the other 4 there are just in the 50s. Not, you think that's okay?
Oh, I always think we can get better. So I
Okay.
always think
I mean,
there's room for improvement. I just highlighted where
You
the
have a goal?
majority responded.
Do you have a goal? 75%, 80%, or what? Or
I mean, would it be lofty to say, wouldn't we want 100% for all of these things? But yeah, I don't have a set number in mind, but I certainly, if we follow the MTSS model, it says 80% and above would be a really solid goal to aim for.
okay. And see, I can't remember exactly what you said, but it was something that we're really pleased with these, and I thought that's to me isn't outstanding, and that's
Yeah.
where we need to be.
Yeah. I agree. I think always room for improvement. That's just where the majority fell on these responses.
And Megan, when it says responses from staff, is that just primary teachers, classroom teachers? Does that include?
It's the average for all staff who responded last year to this survey. We'd have to go back to see what the percentage breakdown was of elementary versus secondary
It's
staff.
the teachers.
Yes.
It's not like.
It was
we're
the
not
staff
asking Sarah
response.
as well. We're not.
Correct.
We're just.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes, you have calendar also.
I do have calendar also. Just to pull that up. Okay. As we go through these slides really quickly, I just wanted to provide some background on the selection of the calendar this year. So the first one is just an acknowledgement of our calendar members. We had representation from all of our district buildings, as well as a wide range of perspectives who brought something different to the conversation. So thank you to our committee members that served. And just a reminder on the timeline, really, this work began over the summer. We did identify who from the board would be assigned to the committee. As school began to get started, we identified our dates for meeting and who were going to be our representatives. And then in September is when the bulk of this work really happened. We sent a survey out to staff in order to gather their preferences on the calendar for next year. For example, when they would want certain holiday breaks to happen, parent-teacher conference week preferences. And honestly, that really drove the work and allowed us to identify the strengths and the needs within the calendar. But executive cabinet took the time to review that information, to draft some calendars to then bring to the calendar committee, who really narrowed down those options, made a few small tweaks to make the calendars even better before we sent them out to staff for a final vote. And it allowed us to have that work session on the calendar to be done in just one meeting with those calendar representatives. The next couple slides, I'm not going into detail. They're just here for your reference, that we do have parameters that we operate under when we consider our calendar. So those were the general parameters, as well as those developed by the negotiated agreement. And then the next slide shows from that survey I just referenced the parameters that were set before the committee even came together, because these were by far the majority preferences that came through on that survey. So when you have 300 of your staff or less, it ended up being, I think it was around 200 some who responded, that really drives what it is that you want to do. Okay. So with all of that said, the two calendars that went to the staff for the vote were calendar A and calendar B. And this chart just outlines some of the differences between those for, return to school dates, the PD days and such. So just at a glance, what it was that they were voting on, the preferences between. And once that went to a vote, calendar A came back as the strongest recommendation by far. In fact, it was about an 80% preference by the staff for calendar A. So that is the one I am bringing to you as the recommendation for next year's school calendar.
I have to say, my name is on there as a committee member, and I had to miss the first meeting because of the family thing, and it was so efficient. I didn't even get to go to a meeting.
I'm so sorry.
It was amazing.
No, she's not. She did an outstanding job.
It's just
It was
amazing.
phenomenal.
Well, and
Thank you.
Yes, well, you're welcome, and the calendar committee members were
Yes.
fantastic just in
Yeah.
having conversation and
Yeah.
helping to narrow it down.
It was very
I also had great teammates who helped vet through calendars in order to bring them to the meeting. So it was not
Yeah.
a solo process by any means.
wonderful. Thank you
Yeah.
for that work.
It was a heavy burden to shoulder.
Yeah, great and took it, yeah.
Thanks for putting it all on your shoulders. Thank you, Brady. Contributed a lot.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Megan.
Okay. Is that it? Marty have something?
Marty wants to spend money.
He's on the action item. Come on up.
All right. So if you have a 55-year-old building, you discover lots of interesting things. We have discovered that there is something with the sewer line when it was originally built that was put in incorrectly. And Rick Sear has guaranteed me that this has been going on since he started in the mid-70s.
That's a long time.
I was gonna say, that's only a couple years ago. right?
The problem with it is that the thing that I'm mentioning right now is a project for next summer because it's actually under the building. So we thought we could help ourselves out, and we fixed a 100-foot section outside of the building, on the east side of the building. What we discovered was that worked well. That part went just as we planned, only to discover that we had a much bigger problem that I am bringing to you now. So we need to see if you guys are willing to go ahead and let us move forward with replacing the east sanitary main at the high school at a cost not to exceed $31,450. We bring it to you now because it probably needs to be done sooner rather than later. And I won't go into any details on that unless you really want me to. Any questions?
You got any pictures?
There's
There actually are some pictures.
Oh.
I don't want to.
Sure
see
there
that.
are.
No.
Does not look like that was a pipe to begin with at all anyway.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
yeah, it's probably something that should have been done years ago. And
So I guess I would ask, the money for this comes out of
capital out.
capital outlay.
And then does this alleviate the need for more work in the summer or?
We'll still have to go in and fix the problem with the flow during the summer. But this
We'll
will,
now have a pipe to flow through.
correct.
I don't even need to know about
Yeah.
it. So now you're fun, right? Okay.
You can
So-
imagine Rick trying to explain this to Lance and I, and then we went to Samco and they explained it, and it was just bad.
It's bad.
Madam President, I
Yes.
make a motion that we approve the bid from Samco to replace the sewer pipe at Seaman High School.
Or put one in.
Second, any discussion?
Oh,
All in favor, raise your right hand and say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
All right, many people will thank you. The next item is last month, we brought to you the early graduation and credit waiver requests. Those were presented, and we would ask at this time that you approve all of those requests.
Madam President, I make a motion to approve all the early graduation requests as presented by Marty.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Marty,
Thank you.
so what did we find out here last month? You were talking, what was the final?
They have not torn it out yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
I wish that I could tell you that.
Yeah.
They have, the company that we're having work on it has booked and haven't been able to tear anything out of it.
Okay.
So we don't know yet.
Stay tuned.
all right. So I think that's it, right?